I know we've talked about the numbers, but I think it bears repeating. The federal government spent over $66 billion on illegal immigrants in 2023, according to the Federation for American Immigration. Does anyone here want to guess how much we've spent on homeless veterans in 23? Guess? High? Well, let's just start. Higher, lower, the same? Anybody want to guess?
Fractional.
Fractional. Thank you. 3 billion. 66 on illegals, 3 billion on people who have laid down their lives for this country. Can anyone explain up there why that makes sense?
Well, one is including all sorts of benefits, and one is just looking at a very, very narrow.
I'm using apples to apples.
It would be a very different.
I'm using apples to apples. So since you know, why don't you share with me?
We don't track U.S.
We
don't track U.S. veterans in the census, so that would be very helpful if we did. Then I would be able to give you a very.
But do you know the answer? Because I do. I do. So I appreciate your opinion of which you have no facts on, but let me continue and let me educate you some more. The federal government, breaking that $66 billion down, let's look at what we fund. So you might want to get a pencil and paper and take some notes because I'll help you do your job. $5.8 billion in SNAP, $10 billion in Medicare, $8.2 billion in uncompensated hospital expenditures, $3 billion for primary and secondary education for illegal immigrants, And how many illegal immigrants are given taxpayer-funded housing compared to the number of homeless veterans that are sleeping on the street? You don't know because you don't want to know. You don't want to see the numbers. Well, I do, and I can share with you the American people do. Because I'll share with you, the people in my district, in Michigan, of the 9th District, we care about our homeless veterans. We care about our veterans. And yes, we care about them a little bit more than we care about people who have broken the law to get here illegally. So I actually have some suggestions, and maybe some answers on how to fix it. Instead of $66 billion, here are a couple things we could spend. The White House has requested $13 million for the National Call Center for homeless veterans. I'm going to say it again, $13 million with an M, right? Maybe we could find that out of that $66 billion, right, different between million and billion, big difference, we could funnel some more of that $66 billion to our homeless veterans. Anyone opposed to that? Why aren't we doing it? Why aren't we doing it? Anybody got an idea? Anybody got an idea? Why we're not, God bless you, why we're not doing it? I'll tell you why we're not doing it, because the Biden administration does not want to do it. Am I correct? Am I incorrect on that? I didn't think so. This year's budget request from the White House asks for $17.2 billion in mental health spending for veterans. That $10 billion we lose to Medicare spending would surely benefit to struggle with the mental health issues. So why don't we do this? America's a very charitable country. Why don't we take care of our own first? Anyone see a problem with that? Why don't we? I'll tell you why we don't. Because the Biden administration doesn't want to do that. It's maddening to me. The White House budget requested for caregiver support programs not $2.9 billion. Maybe instead of $3 billion for educating illegal immigrants, we can give more funding to caregiver support programs, right? We're all talking about both sides of the aisle, which ironically doesn't even want to participate in this hearing, sadly, but not unexpected. We all talk about caregiving is a problem, right? I hear that on both sides of the aisle. What would happen if we took that $3 billion and gave it to caregivers that live in the United States? Anyone have a problem with that? Why don't we do it? Anybody? The Biden administration doesn't want to do it. And you play games with your facts. And you play this shell game. Well, I'm going to share with you, the American people are not fooled, and they are frustrated and fed up with it. Let's just be honest about where this money is going so we possibly can redirect it to the correct place. Let's start with our veterans. Thank you, and with that, Mr. Chairman, I yield back. Come to order. Welcome, everyone. Without objection, the chair may declare a recess at any time. I recognize myself for the purpose of making an opening statement. Today, we are again conducting oversight of yet another disastrous policy by the Biden administration that will only exacerbate the crisis along the southern border. The Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services have proposed a rule to extend Medicaid, CHIP, and Obamacare eligibility deferred action for childhood arrivals or DACA recipients in direct contradiction to congressional intent. Once again, the Biden administration officials are seeking to rewrite laws through agency rulemaking because they know their policies are not supported by the American people and they would not be able to pass in the House nor the Senate. Instead, they're proposing a rule with dubious legal basis to provide taxpayer-funded federal health benefits to individuals who have entered this country illegally. Even President Obama understood this much when his administration determined in 2012 that DACA recipients should not be eligible for Medicaid. A federal judge has already deemed the entire DACA program, which was unilaterally created through nothing more than an emergency memorandum, unlawful. DHS is currently prohibited from accepting further applications by a court order. Despite this, the administration proceeds with a plan to spend hundreds of millions more of taxpayer dollars on health care benefits for DACA recipients. CMS's own estimates show that the expansion will increase state expenditures for Medicaid and CHIP by $40 million, and federal expenditures would expand by another $60 million per year. And that does not include the proposed Obamacare expansion, which is projected to cost another $15 million per year. And you know who the Biden administration expects to pay for it? The American taxpayers. Further, the Biden administration's proposal will incentivize further illegal immigration. The Biden administration has chosen, unfortunately, to prioritize illegal immigrants over the American people. I simply do not understand it. These funds could be used to provide a better health care to the American people, and that is why we must stop this administration from rewarding illegal immigrants at the expense of American citizens. We must ensure that Americans are being put first. By definition, DACA recipients are still and always were unlawfully present in the United States. The Biden administration cannot simply alter that fact. In extending federal benefits to illegal immigrants, President Biden is signaling to the rest of the world that not only will the U.S. not enforce laws preventing illegal immigration, but illegal immigrants will be rewarded with federal benefits. We should not reward individuals unlawfully present in the United States with benefits that were created for American citizens and those who are lawfully present in the country. The Biden administration is responsible for one of the worst crises in the recent memory along our southwest border. By extending federal benefits to illegal immigrants, the Biden administration is once again pouring gasoline on an out-of-control fire that will only incentivize more illegal immigration. With such reckless, tone-deaf policies have become the status quo for this administration. With that, I want to thank Dr. Motz for being here today. We look forward to your testimony. Now I yield to the Ranking Member Porter, Ms. Porter, for her opening statement. Ms. Porter?
That's all for today. Thank you. If you want global news to keep you up to date on any new developments, please subscribe our channel and forward our content with your friends on social media and email. Thank you very much for keep supporting me. Stay safe, be blessed. Namaste.
Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.